And this is a poem called Parallel Lines Do Not Meet. There was two things I was extremely bad at, and that was mathematics and happiness. But the one thing that I could understand was that parallel lines do not meet. But then being mathematics, when you complete the equation, it says parallel lines do not meet except at infinity. And you think, oh, bugger that. I thought I understood that. I happened to get, I used to work in a very rough school, and I got this arm broken 1 year, and then I came back and I got paralysed, and this side of my face got paralysed, and this arm got paralysed, so I was a bit like that, like The Office, and I couldn't do anything. It took me a year to be able to blink my eye again, so they can see I can wink at Jan still. It took me about a year to be able to talk. And what brought me back to spoken word was trying to speak. And I thought I would put myself up in front of 50 people, here's your poem, and gradually it sort of came back. But for those years, this is my whistling past the graveyard poem. This is when I've got 5 years ahead of me. I'm in incredible pain, constant pain for 5 years. Life's shit, and I just project my happiness into the future and run forward and try to meet it. And happiness is a girl called Janice. So this is Parallel Lines Do Not Meet. Happiness is not a mathematical formula that one can apply to supply an answer. Rather, it is the sum of who you are multiplied by who you are willing to be. Happiness, like mathematics, is something I was never ever any good at, and always made me weep with equal parts desperation, exasperation, and frustration, or death for short. For example, if it took a man a lifetime to dig himself into a hole, how long would it take for half the man he used to be to dig himself out again? Questions such as this only cause me grief. In mathematics, like Latin, which I could also never know, I would cheat and repeat words full of sound and no sense, e.g., the cares of the hippopotamus are equal to some of the cares that the other two hippopotami confide. Happiness, like mathematics, was all Greek to me. I don't know, that's all I know. But I do know that happiness happens every now and then. The only trick is to be aware that it's there and that parallel lines do meet at infinity. Q-E-P. Thank you. I was dyslexic when I was little, and it took me till I was about 9 to learn how to read. And by the age of 10, I was reading Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway, and I was also reading Five Go to Treasure Island, because I needed both of those books. I understood Mrs. Dalloway completely, but I also needed Treasure. I got the Treasure Island. I come from an age where we did the Peter and Jane books. See Peter run, run Peter run. See Jane bark, you know, stuff. So I decided we had to do something on adultery. Something I don't do, but we had to do something on adultery. So this is a primer for adultery written in the Dick and Jane books. Here is Dick, here is Jane. They are making sex. The dog barks. Bark, dog, bark. See Dick come. Come, Dick, come. They are having so much fun. Oh my God, my husband. See Dick run. Run, Dick, run. Come again. Jane entreats Dick as he leaves by the window. Explain, Jane, explain. She has some explaining to do. See Jane kick the crumpled white fronts under the bed. Jane lies. Lie, Jane, lie. Hubby moans. Moan, hubby, moan. How could I ever doubt you? Jane fumes. God, that was a near one. She wears lies in her smile. Here is Jane. Here is Peter. They are the perfect couple. Lie. Dick is always on her mind. The dog barks when he comes and goes. Here is Peter. Here is Jane. They are divorced at enormous cost. Here is Peter. Here is Dick. They are very happy together. Here is Jane. She can't even begin to explain what happened. This is a poem for my friend Amelia in Bulgaria. And she's a very fine poet indeed. She's a better poet than me. and you're put in the position of having to write a poem for a better poet than you are, and that's very scary. And I tried and I didn't get it right. But this is called Tarab. If you're Arabic, you'll know what Tarab is. The poem explains it. The words come to me demanding to be written, and are bitterly disappointed to find that I am me, not you. Somehow they had managed to turn up in the wrong head, mistaking me for you because I was thinking so much of you. Too late now they come to realize their mistake. Reluctantly they agreed to stay and be this poem. I can see they are not impressed. Missing Bulgaria and ending up in England in an Irish head is bad, but badder still getting the sex wrong and being this guy. A word breaks down, begins to cry. She's got what the Arabs call tarab. One word is heard to remark. Yes, it's that intoxication of the senses beyond all reason. Another word elucidates, almost hallucinates. Hey, shit for brains, a bunch of words truly calls. Amelia would have written us better than this. Some words try to hide in the space between the lines. Some words hide in the surrounding empty space, refusing to come out or even talk about it. Some words live lives of quiet desperation, silently erasing themselves. Some words hijack this page, turning it into a paper aeroplane, demand to be taken to Sophia. They are already incensed to have missed your birthday. So if by your dreaming head a paper aeroplane appears, full of frustrated, distraught words, take them, they are yours. You, the better poet than I could ever be. You, the great you. Me, merely me. Thank you. I was sick in bed, as I am often sick in bed, and there was a programme about British justice, and there were given examples of medieval justice. So when people ask me how I am, I usually say, I'm fine, I'm dying, of course, but I go, yeah, fine. Let's go, fine. Sometimes I feel just like that guy in medieval England, who being shown mercy was not given death, but had his eyes torn out and thrown before him on the ground, after suffering castration, his testicles being kicked hither and yon by yobs, scaring the maidens by kicking his balls nearer to their laughter and screaming. And yet, if one were to ask me how I was, I would smile and say, fine, just fine. The friend who I wrote this about is not here, thankfully. This is called Oi! His glass eye falls into his pint, stares back up at him. He drinks it down to his eye, sucks the eye into his mouth. His eye looking out of his mouth, observing everyone gasping. His eye sitting in the palm of his hand, he screws it back in. His eye happy now in his head, he orders another pint. And finally, this is called the Ghost Club. It's the Ghost Club. You hardly know when you're dead. It's just a different kind of alive. I hang around my old shed, touch and not touch my rusting tools. Some of the other ghosts hang out at the bandstand, but only when it rains. We call ourselves the Ghost Club, chat about this and that and this, you know, the little things that make a life. We keep in touch with the living, shadowing them, pretending to be their shadow, hidden in a sudden slant of sun on an evening. We shout and shout, but our words are invisible. It's like living in a parallel dimension, living inside a snow dome, and it's turned upside down, the fake snow falling, mimicking the real snow falling gently now outside. I'd love to cry, but I've forgotten how, and I don't know it's allowed. It's a life of sorts. Somehow I get by. I miss my bye. Bye. Thank you. Mr. Jumbo, in the United States.